Good morning everyone. Going along with the presentation. It's entitled Using the Touch Table to Support Participatory Land Use Planning. I'm with the for Environmental Studies. I am Colombian, so I hope you understand my accent as well. Well, this is not quite precisely about visualization and such, but it's about presenting a collaborative environment for decision making and land use planning using the touch table. Okay, the overview of the presentation, I first describe the problem and our objective of our research. We'll go into our approach a little bit into detail, and evaluation, negotiation, tools, and the workshops is part of the approach, so I'll come back to that later into detail. And I'll finalize with some concluding remarks. Okay, the problem is about land use planning. There's a presence of multiple stakeholders, usually with conflicting objectives. There's lots of information that is to be presented to the stakeholders. This information sometimes is very complex, and sometimes it's just very overwhelming for the stakeholders. So we need to transport this information and communicate it in a clearer way to improve the decision making. And of course, there's a need for participation. The goal of our work is to develop and implement a method to support decision processes for the interactive development of land use plans. In this presentation, we're going to focus on negotiation for participatory land use planning. And our approach in detail comprises three elements. First, we use collaboration as a method. We use maps as the main means of communication among stakeholders. And we use the touch table, which is an instrument I'll talk about later, to combine this both into a so-called collaborative environment. So why collaboration? Well, we're all aware of the need to involve the stakeholders into the decision-making process, especially in the case of land use study. And so it's very important for the transparency of the final decisions, for the transparency of the whole process to involve them, to have them share with others. They're safe with others. So that's a part of the collaboration. Maps in our research plays a central role. We use them as the main communication means, as I mentioned. We use them through workshops or stakeholder sessions face-to-face, where they use maps as the main tool. We develop tools based on maps that we, on the specific basis of the workshop, also to have the users work with. And we'll combine all that into a touch table instrument as collaborative device. So what's the touch table? I hope you all know, for example, I've seen an iPhone Touch or iPhone telephone. So it's the same concept, it's touch enabled, but it's just this big. And well, our rationale to choose and implement this instrument is because it supports face-to-face collaboration. It's a nice way to engage the stakeholders. It allows working with computer-based tools, actually without having a computer getting in the way, without having a keyboard or mouse in the way, but only the users around on the hands. And because it's a common visualization interface for special information. So it's more or less what it looks like. Okay, and a very important part of our approach is the workshop session that I mentioned. So we have a series of interconnected workshops. Three of them are distinguished. The series starts with design workshops. And every workshop uses maps in a different way according to literature. So for the case of design workshops, maps are given language. For analysis workshops, maps are used as the search model. In this one, we try to get the users present information on the touch table about the area to transform expert knowledge into maps. And for the case of negotiation, we actually have maps being used in the decision agenda, and we let the users negotiate a plan in order to arrive at a compromise plan that is the best possible for all. And this is the focus of this presentation today. So the negotiation workshop, okay, we combine the negotiation workshop, we combine the use of maps, we combine evaluation tools, which are NCA tools, I guess we all know what that is about. We combine also negotiation tools, which actually use use the output of MCA for the users to facilitate the negotiation process, and all this on the touch table. So here on this snapshot you can see users actually working on the touch table and negotiating. You can have maximum of 4 users sitting around the touch table. So as I mentioned, this is a collaborative environment. It's a well-known term in the literature. The main goal of the negotiation workshop is to get a reference land use plan, and through negotiation and deliberation, and also with the help of tools, arrive to a negotiated plan. And how this is done? I'm going to explain next. So first, the workshop comprises hardware and software tools. These are set up from the hardware part. So we have the touch table as the main mapping interface. It doesn't have its own processor, it has to be connected to a computer. And all the tools on the maps are loaded into, are loaded and developed in the laptop and loaded onto the touch table. And this is a separate screen which conveys absolutely information to the users what they negotiate, so that as they make changes in the map, they get to see some more information on this separate screen which is connected to the setup about the qualities of the plan they're making. So, if you remember what it was like, so what you get to see on this screen is this. This is simply on one of the previous workshops we have defined. We have the users, stakeholders, define the objectives for the future land use of the area. We have 4: agricultural, soil, water, landscape, nature, and the total evaluation. These numbers are the result of MCA of the spatial aggregation of these qualities by means of simple weight estimation, both numerical and spatial. This is the numerical part. And this is for our case study, we have 3 land uses, 3 land use classes, which was extensive agriculture and intensive agriculture, and the number of hectares per land use that are created or subtracted from the area are shown here too dynamically. So how is this done? Okay, in this graph, it's a bit too busy, but okay. We have a reference land use plan. And the idea is through this process to arrive at a new compromise land use plan. How? We have the users to turn around and touch on the touch table to see what are the best parcels or the worst parcels on the map that suit best their own objectives. And the idea is to have all this information superimposed to each other and also on the land use map, so that it makes this trade-off visible. And having said that, when we have this information exposed as trade-offs, then this facilitates the process of changing the land use into a better land use. The users negotiate on the touch table, they talk, they change, a new plan is being generated, the plan is being on the fly evaluated on the basis of the objectives we mentioned, and as this information is put on the screen until the point is reached where the users are satisfied with the final result, and this is the final plan of the result of this negotiation process. So I'm going to show you in more detail how this looks like on the touch table. So we have here the land use map of the area. It's a small area of 5,000 hectares in western Holland, Netherlands. Here are 3 colors for land use. Dark green is nature. These land uses are characteristic of the area, which is composed of flat meadow landscape, or peat. So agriculture is the main activity. And we have the yellow corresponds to extensive agriculture, and the light green corresponds to extensive agriculture. And these land uses are based on groundwater levels. So what happens? By means of this interface, here we have some slide bars. The users can touch on the touch table to show a number of hectares on the map that suit better the objective. For example, we have here usual nature, best and worst. So this land use will be corresponding, for example, for a stakeholder representing nature organizations. And let's suppose that this person wants to see the 50% or 40% parcels on the area that are best for this objective. So this corresponds roughly to 1,500 hectares. And at the same time, he wants to see the worst hectares. So he touches on this interface, and then internally the parcels get rank order, and we get this. You get the initial and use situation, and then we get this feedback populating the parcels.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. I'll explain this.